Hey everyone, welcome to Sweetcast. I am Clint. I love to write comics and talk about comic industry. And so this is really this is the beginning of something big. Sean Gordon Murphy says on Twitter, in response to the question of what he's going to be doing after his current book, and he said, yes, he's going to do something creator owned. Yes, after Curse, I plan on crowdfunding my next book. This is perhaps the biggest name in comics right now, Sean Gordon Murphy, arguably the biggest name in comics, and he's planning on doing a creator-owned book, not with Image Comics, not, I don't know who else you'd do Image through, or creator-owned. Vertigo is gone. The biggest thing I would think of is Image, really. That's where he would do it. Nope. He's going to crowdfund. That is amazing. Also because, if you think about it, if he crowdfunds this book, chances are he could publish it still anywhere after the fact. He could publish it through Image or wherever after, and just it'd be all gravy at that point. I don't know what his plans are, but I do know he says he's going to be crowdfunding. So that's all there is. Some of these comments got me laughing. Somebody wants a Bugatti. Yeah, Kickstarter or Indiegogo, and no response. That is the question. Will it be Kickstarter or Indiegogo? Now, if you followed my channel or a little bit with Sean Gordon Murphy, you'll know that he is actually friends with Doug TenNapel, and Doug TenNapel has been really vocal about using Indiegogo, and he suggests that to other people. Would not surprise me whatsoever if the two of them got together and talked about it a little bit, and maybe he got a few pointers, because Earthworm Jim did, after all, make a crap ton of money. Now, this is going to be a really cool case study to see how this goes over, because of his platform and his reach. And not only that, but how is his audience willing enough to fund a crowdfunded project? Is it going to be before the pages are done or after the pages? Is he paying himself a page rate and a wage based off of what he's making during this crowdfunding campaign? All of this, I think, really is a factor in how successful he can be, or if it's going to be a total dud. Because remember, he's not going to have the entire marketing arm of DC or Marvel or any other publishing company. In essence, this is on his shoulders, unless he's worked out some kind of deal that we're all not aware of. So crowdfunding's, it's difficult. This is my book, almost 30,000. I might as well pitch it right now. But yeah, if you haven't backed it yet, do check it out. This only happens because of being plugged in to the online, like, YouTube community for comics, Twitter, and talking to people, getting on other live streams, all that kind of stuff, of really being plugged into the audience of people that is actually willing to go and pay and support a crowdfunded project. If you've got a whole audience of people that are used to going to their local comic shop and have never crowdfunded a comic, things might be a little different. I don't know what the case is going to be. We can only speculate at this time. I'm just trying to look at all the ins and outs. So here's an example: a professional, John Malin, who went from being a professional to moving over and doing his own book. This is his current campaign, and he's getting pretty darn close to 130 grand, and I'm sure it'll be even higher than that by the time he finishes the campaign completely. This is an example of how it's been done right. This is his second campaign. His first campaign was finished and fulfilled on time, I even think ahead of schedule. And so this is a professional that has done it. And from what I know of John Malin and from what he said, this is only going to be the way he makes comics from now on. Do you think if Sean Gordon Murphy has as good of an experience as John Malin did, do you think that everything he does from now on is going to be crowdfunded? Do you also think that the floodgates will open if Sean Gordon Murphy has a very successful campaign? How long is it going to be till you have people like Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, the list goes on and on and on of people that are going to be leaving? Now, if I was Marvel and DC, I would be worried about this, like seriously worried about it. Another example here is Red Rooster. This is by Mitch and Elizabeth Breitweiser, And they're taking a slightly different route because, yeah, they were wildly successful with this crowdfunding campaign, but they also are creating a publishing company. And I don't know all the ins and outs of what their plans are and if crowdfunding is going to be the go-to way. So they're actually kind of taking it back the other way. But again, this is still independent from the big two publishers. And this is a professional that has, two professionals for that matter, that have left the mainstream in order to be independent because it's more lucrative. Who'd have thought we'd be saying that? Of course, Cyberfrog, Bloodhoney, same thing, a professional that left the industry to do his own thing. And this is just one of the 3 Cyberfrog campaigns. They've all been extremely, extremely successful. And from what he said, crowdfunding is going to be a staple for his business going forward indefinitely, assuming nothing changes. And so for maybe some of the indie guys, the smaller indie publishers, I feel it. I feel that there might be some worry that if you have all of these pros moving over to Indiegogo or Kickstarter and pushing these really big campaigns, will you be crowded out, and will it no longer be this this sort of equal opportunity that everybody gets to crowdfund and get their comic published? I don't know, because again, this is only part of it. And a great example to emphasize that is, of course, Richard Meyer. This is his third successful campaign, and he's raised a ton of money and been extremely successful. This is Jawbreaker's God King. He was not a professional before this. He had, and this is the common thread, a YouTube channel, a social media presence that he could reach a lot of people. Now, does Sean Gordon Murphy have a huge presence? I know that he's got Twitter followers, 60,000 Twitter followers, but I will tell you that Twitter followers do not convert into backers as well as YouTube subscribers convert to backers. There's a huge difference there. Having said that, he also has massive name recognition throughout comics everywhere, but will his fans be able to follow? Now, one thing you don't want to do, Sean Gordon Murphy, Sean, if you're listening, one thing that you do not want to do when crowdfunding is not plan it out properly and not finish it. This will be death. Crowdfunding can be fantastic. It can be an amazing, lucrative path forward for comics, and maybe one that you would, form the rest of your career around. But if you don't nail that first campaign, it does have pretty big consequences. Now, I'm not Rob Liefeld, and I'm not going to pretend to know what's going through his mind, but this is his campaign, Brigade, and this was launched a very long time ago, and still it hasn't been fulfilled. Though you keep hearing updates and that it's coming soon, but it's been like that for years. So I'm not sure if or when this is ever going to get finished and fulfilled. But this is a bad example, basically, of crowdfunding done wrong. I think that part of the problem here is that if you are primarily the creator and you're figuring that your time is worth money, and so you're making this campaign and you're paying yourself, once you get that check or you get that transfer from Indiegogo or Kickstarter, now you've got all this money in the bank. And so it'd be really tempting to say, well, this is my money. It's for paying me to complete the work for this project. It'd be really, really tempting to just spend that money however you need, maybe pay off some debt, buy that new car that you've been needing or wanting, or whatever it might be. And again, I'm not saying that Rob Liefeld did any of this. I don't keep track of the man's finances. But you can see how that money can quickly disappear. And then when it comes time for printing and shipping, you realize that is actually really expensive, and it costs more perhaps than expected. And so this is not a good example. I hope that Rob is able to pull together the money that he needs to, assuming he needs more money, but I hope he's able to finish this project and get it out there for everybody's sake. I hope he gets this finished. But Sean Gordon Murphy, you got to nail this one. No doubt that you can, because it's been done so many times, pricing models, all this kind of stuff. Potentially, this could really open up the doors for a lot of professionals jumping over to crowdfunding. And I'm not even talking about Comicsgate. This is just crowdfunding. So I'm curious, if you're an indie creator or even just a customer, what do you think about pros like Sean Gordon Murphy and perhaps others moving over and crowdfunding their own projects? Is this going to hurt Marvel and DC? I think it is. Honestly, I think this is going to be hurtful. They're going to have to shift and change, so it might end up being a good thing. But I'd love to know your thoughts on what you think is going to happen. Don't forget to check out Downcast. This is only a $15 book, by the way. $6 shipping. This is pretty affordable. One of the most affordable books right now on Indiegogo, and you get 52 pages of story and several other pages of awesome artwork and other goodies. So check it out if you haven't yet. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe even share this out so people know that Sean Gordon Murphy is going to be crowdfunding. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.